destroying my enemy. Hey guys, so today I've got a little bit of a clip for you. It's a short one of a 2v1. Here it's a legendary map event, the Cutthroat Cargo Hunt, where you obtain a legendary map. It takes you to a location. You get sometimes good loot. In this case, I just got utter garbage. I would have rather have died an honorable death fighting these guys. Anyway, so here you can see I positioned myself. I've got a little bit of speed. These guys are together. I kind of had a gist that these guys were together. I initiate with a brace, and the brace allows me to not take any damage in that exchange, and they took huge damage. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, the build will be at the end of the video. We'll explain the build and everything of what's happening here. So we're using food for the extra stam regen, though I don't think we really need it in this fight, as we have our stam food, which will just give me 45% more stam on use with a 10-second cooldown. So here you will watch me. I'm playing with the wind. Now I'm going to be playing with the wind a lot with these guys, because you can see that they're more interested in just chasing me in a straight line than actually managing their own ship. They're focusing on the chase and shooting at me. So here I'm pressuring the big ship, because he is my biggest threat. He's also the one that can actually keep up with me. So as long as I can keep him pressured, he's good. I turn in for a broadside to hit the little fella. He's pretty far off here. My travel time of my shells is quite far, but we get some good solid hits on him, especially his mast. If I can get a mast, then I could slow him down, and that would be game over for him for a little bit, unless he repairs. And here I'm thinking about what's my next plan while I send over some shots to that player. And my idea here is now to head inland, where there's some islands, a little bit of cover, maybe some ships in the way, obstacles, obstructions, anything like that to give me space to operate. Now, here's a little trick for you. I have level 1 or tier 1 to tier 3 repairs all available to me. And the reason I do that is because the more powerful the repair, the longer the cooldown it is to repair. So there I took some damage and I used the smallest repair, which is maybe like a 20 or even less second cooldown, and it gives me 6,000 HP. So it gives me a little bit of HP. The cooldown is really short. That allows me to, if I need to, use my big heal. So here we're getting into the islands. There's a lot going on in here. There's ships, there's towers, and we're all using AoE weapons, so it could get ugly pretty quickly for any of us. And they're going to chase me in here. Now, going through here, there's 2 of them. They're going to have to get behind each other or watch their movement. There's obstacles, there's line of sight, so on and so forth. And that's what we're going to use here. Here, I'm getting into the wind, which is slowing me down. And I'm going to take a significant amount of damage because of it. The towers are on me due to an AoE proc that I got, which is a little unfortunate. I'm going to use my big heal here, as I was going to take a lot of damage. My stamina's low, and I'm trying to recharge my brace. So this big ship is really trying to get to me, but what happens here is he's now fighting the wind, as I told you earlier, to go beeline directly for me. Because I came in at such an angle, and I was watching my wind movement, I was able to maintain speed coming out and get around the corner. They're both now fighting against the wind to try and get me. So they're going maybe 8 knots or whatever the measurement is in this game, and I'm going 14. So that's where they screw up here, and that's where I managed to get away. Here I'm just going to start volleying some shells. We get 2 absolutely amazing hits there, and we're just going to coast it to the finish line. Really wonderful little fight there. I actually wish that I stayed behind to fight, because this loot was definitely not worth me handing it in. We should have just got some PvP and had fun all around. But here it is. We pretty much get to the cross line, and as we get in here, we actually sunk the little ship. So my guess is it's the burn effect is what got it. So let's talk about the ship, the build, the consumables, and one of the consumables that I missed during that lovely engagement. So we are using the paid Wakang class ship, and it is a large ship capable of taking on multiple enemies. This is true. I concur with that statement. So the key features of this is detonate. Explosive hits have a 70% chance of triggering an explosion, which deals 1,000 damage within a 125 meter blast radius. Now, this is why the AI was attacking me, was because I procced this, and the AoE effect hit the AI, which is then in turn why they all started, zerging me. The blast radius is increased to 100% if the target is ablaze, so if they're on fire, which the fire bombards we have in this build set ships on fire. Increase the damage to structures and weapon damage radius by 12%. So this is just area of effect. So you can see the stats here. You can take note of them. Doesn't really matter. It's all we really care about is the detonate effect, which is what we're fully taking use of in this build. So if we go and manage our ship and look at the weapons, the front weapons we have, this I got from PvP, a treasure map, the long cannon 4s. These do 75 damage. Now it's a pretty decent amount of damage, I'm not going to lie. And it's basically for the bow chasing capabilities the long cannons provide. And I'm hoping to switch these out for ones with some sort of bonus to sail damage to slow people down. I would really like to get a set of those. So that's what we have on the bow chasers. On the side, on either side, we have the fire bombards. Now, I only have one set of fire bombards too. Today, I'm going to be getting the other two that I need for 68 damage on one side. And then on the other side, we have the same thing, but these are ones, so 38 damage. We're missing out on a huge amount of damage. We'll be flipping these out to twos today to complete the weapon section of this build pretty much. But we pretty much have bombards on the sides and the rear. It complements the ship massively. Highly recommend. And they're really, really powerful too. They have a lot of range. They have a lot of effective capabilities in terms of their AoE effect. So you saw in the fight that I was shooting one guy and it was hurting another guy because of the explosive effect of the ship. So that really complements the ship's playstyle really well. Now let's look at the middle. Here, this is debatable what to use. I had rocket ones, so I'm using rocket ones. Now, if you want to use your mortar, you can use your mortar. It has 600 meter range, and I believe this has a lot less range. Let's have a look. Where's the range? Here it is, 300 meters. So it's half the distance. It's definitely a little bit closer. But the damage potential of this is 7,500 damage if you can hit all the rockets. So the burst potential is super, super high. Couple that with a blast effect from your bombards, which you can fire at the same time, and you can really put some serious pain on somebody real quick with the rockets on there. It's what I'm going with. You choose in this slot what you kind of want. Definitely complements, I believe, the ship too. For armor, now not everyone's going to be able to get one of these. This is through RNG of treasure maps, the PvP event, and Iron Husk 4 is what I got with a 34% resistance to explosive damage. Now in this open beta, there's going to be a lot of explosive damage because that's what complements the only medium ship we can get. Now, after the closed beta, the game releases, things are going to change. But currently, this is really strong because people are going to want to use fire bombards with this ship because it makes sense. And this basically just helps against that. It's fire and explosive damage is what the fire bombards do. So that's the armor that I have. It's the best armor I've got. And that's what we have in there. For furniture, this is where things get really interesting. We do have this here. It's a major... Ooh, I want to do that, but we won't do that. Anyway, so we have Scrapper Station. This restores 8,000 hull health after a crew attack. If you're getting involved, you're brawling, you manage to get a crew attack, it just adds that level of sustainability out on the field, and also helps with the fact that you can have really long cooldowns if you need on your repair kit. So it's something to take note of, and we'll explain that later in the consumable part. Here we got Bombard Works. This adds bombard elemental damage of 19%, but the fire bombards have fire damage and explosive damage, so this will amplify the damage that they do. Obviously, we want that. Increased damage to enemy ships that are ablaze. We're using fire bombards, and they can set ships ablaze. So once they're ablaze, you're going to be doing 10% more damage, which is absolutely lovely. Tons of damage involved there. And then the final one just increases bombard's projectile speeds by 15%. Now, I chose this for when I'm doing them long range yeets. When I'm firing really far away, this just gives me that extra bit of sniping accuracy and sniping capabilities that I kind of want, because fire bombards, you can shoot them pretty far away. And that will be the build for the ship. It's what's working for me. I do a ridiculous amount of damage and it feels great. Now, obviously, I'm trying to find some upgrades. There's a few little pieces I can upgrade, but for the most part, that is that. Now let's have a look at the consumables real quick, and I'm going to set sail for this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the consumables and the different repair kits, because it's really important to take note of the repair kit cooldown. So here we have the tier 3 repair kit. This has a 97-second cooldown for 2700 HP. Okay, that's 90 seconds. That's a minute and 30 seconds. You have to survive after that. Sometimes it's just not worth it, right? Here we have the repair kit tier 2 with a 60-second cooldown for 18,000 HP. And then the final one is the tier 1 with 6,000 with only a 20-second cooldown. So in the fight, I actually use one repair kit 1 and one repair kit 3. And I used the repair kit 1 initially just to keep me topped up in the fight, and then as I was going through the port area and getting shot by the AI, I popped a repair kit 3. In hindsight, I should have popped a repair kit 2. It would have done pretty much the same amount of HP of what I needed during the fight. So the other consumables to take note of is water. Now, I didn't have water on hand. I didn't need it that fight, thank gosh, but I normally always have water. And water gives you a 10% increase to speed. There is another consumable you can also buy that gives you 15% increase to speed. Now, you can only acquire a limited amount of these per port. I believe it's 2 and sometimes 3. Definitely, whenever you get to a port, if you have money, just buy them out at every single port and start stacking up, because that extra speed can really help you out. It's for about 10 or 15 seconds and it's a 60-second cooldown. On top of that, we have food buffs, right? Now, this is, as you can see, for this food, we have stamina efficiency of plus 30% while we're at full speed or trimming, which is just gives me that extra bit of stamina sustainability. We have repair kit efficiency plus 10%. When you're balancing your repair kits, using the smaller ones and things like that, this gives you even more use out of them for shorter cooldowns, something to take note of and think about when looking at consumables. And the other one is stamina regen plus 30%. This just, if I'm not paying attention to my stamina, really, it's the only time where that will come into handy and I'm running low, and it just gives me that extra bit of stam regen. The reason I say that is because you have other foods. I'm using grilled bread. You can, there's various different types of foods like this. You want to cook them up and you get stamina plus 45% on a 15-second cooldown. So every 15 seconds, I can give myself 45% of my total stamina pool back. This is what kept me going in that fight at maximum speed all the time, which in PvP is huge. So definitely capitalize and take note on that. One of the easiest ones you can get, and I believe it's like something like 20% maybe of your stamina pool, but it's really easy to obtain, is coconuts. If you want to get out in your fishing boat, you can go get some hammerhead sharks, and this is all in the starting sort of area where most people will be, and you can get yourself some food like that to boost your stamina, like a stamina pot in other games. And with that, that should really conclude the build, the consumables that we had going on there, and that little 2v1 skirmish with the build. There's going to be more PvP with the ship. I'm going to be spending a lot of time PvPing, trying to get some upgrades. I'm really looking for some better bombards, fire bombards, because that would really complement what I'm trying to do with this ship. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all enjoyed the skirmish, and I'd love to see you on the next one. Peace out.